was really drawn to being a public defender just from personal experiences growing up as a Muslim kid in this country. When 9/11 happened, I was 13 years old, and it was a scary time for the community, and our community was really vulnerable at the time. I grew up in the Bay Area. It's not like I grew up out somewhere where there wasn't, diversity and whatnot. But even here in California, we had a young man named Hamid Hayat who was arrested, prosecuted, and convicted in 2006. He spent 14 years in prison out of a 24-year sentence. And just a few years ago, the same judge who, presided over his trial threw out the conviction and said that the defense in his case was not good. The evidence was really weak. Some communities don't have access to, maybe legal services, or they're not as well connected. There's not as much representation within the legal community. And, I don't want to get into too much about who did represent him or anything like that, or throw them under the bus, but he actually had representation from the community, but they weren't criminal defense attorneys. So he ended up really, in my opinion, very vulnerable. Came from a Pakistani Muslim family in Lodi, and so they just didn't know how to navigate the system. They just hired the only attorneys they knew. And next thing you know, he was looking at a 24-year prison sentence. He was charged with attempting to join a terrorist organization, something along those lines.
Is this like the era when they were going into different, like the FBI was like...
Yes. So the FBI, that's the other thing that really drew me in is, the FBI was just all over the Muslim community during the whole, 10, 15 years after 9/11. So for me, a lot of my journey towards being a public defender was just based off those personal experiences. I just felt like it was really important to help serve those vulnerable people and navigate a system that's so complex and so intimidating.